What makes a man become this way? Because the vast, vast majority of men are wonderful, beautiful human beings, just like women, and would never hurt a woman that they love or in their life at all. In fact, they would want to hurt a man who did that. But there is an unhealthy contingent. And it's always, it's not always, but it's just, I grew up in the 70s, and every night on the news, there were stories about the serial killers killing all these women. It's always like a series of women who get killed by these weird men. Something's gone wrong with them. So what is it that's in their background that makes these guys be able to succeed in life, able to be well-liked, but instead of being a loving, caring husband, they go this route?
Yeah, so my background is in forensic and legal psychology. So I have spent a lot of time in the psychological research and analysis and the psychopathology of men who kill. And I will say they're not all homogenous. So we can't say it's all for the same reason. Specifically, contexts are different. But what I can see is what is the thing that really is the motivator is this need for power and control. And that power and control, well, I'm going to mention the P word, the patriarchy, because we all live in the patriarchy where laws and systems and processes are created by men for men. And that's why women have a very tough time, because our lived experiences aren't included in laws, for example. So that's why we're having to change laws on stalking and on coercive control. So it is this overriding need to have to control things, to have power over. And Megyn, you mentioned serial killers. I mean, it's all the same thing, right? Because men who harm women in their significant lives, as in women who are significant to them, can also harm women who are not significant to them. And this connection is one that I made at New Scotland Yard by profiling domestic violence rapists. And I spent a lot of time profiling 450 of them, looking at them and doing a psychological autopsy backwards of who are they and what do they do. The first 5 years of my career were trying to identify the serial rapist, the serial killer, the serial perpetrator who abducts children. And the one thing I found in their background consistently was domestic abuse and coercive control. So these things do interconnect. And Dr. Robert Hare, who created the psychopathy checklist, he in 1993, his research showed us that 25% of domestic violence perpetrators are psychopaths. And I would expect that to be far higher as a figure now. And when I'm training police and others, I'm always talking about psychopathy because we don't screen enough for it. So there are, unfortunately, many psychopaths who we may have relationships with, and they have this need for power and control, and they have no empathy, they have no remorse, and it's all about them, me, myself, and I, the narcissism. So that's what I see as the thing that interconnects, that law enforcement are trained, well, this is domestic violence here, and these are the domestic violence perpetrators, this is child abuse here, this is sexual violence here, and they're taught in boxes and categories, but that's not how offenders offend. So the more that we understand the traits of psychopathy and the more that we screen for it and that we take domestic violence perpetrators seriously and we see it as serious crime and we hold them to account and we challenge their behavior looking for coercive control, then we start to get into proper threat assessment and risk management.
Look, you did the tough thing during COVID. You paid your people and you pulled your business through the pandemic. Now doing the tough thing could qualify you for up to $26,000 per employee at covidtaxrelief.org. This is a great deal. And this money's already sitting there. It's not like you're tapping into some new tax fund they're going to create on other people. It's already been allotted. Government funds are available right now to reward companies with 2 or more employees who stayed open during COVID. It's not a loan. You don't have to pay it back. The program's complicated. No one knows more about it than the CPAs and tax experts at covidtaxrelief.org. You pay nothing up front. They do all the work and then share a percentage of the cash they get you. Businesses of all types, including nonprofits and churches, can qualify, including those who took PPP loans, even if you had an increase in sales. You did the tough thing for your employees during COVID. Let covidtaxrelief.org help get you up to $26,000 per employee. Visit covidtaxrelief.org. covidtaxrelief.org, covidtaxrelief.org. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.